for all of you that are here, so you can review it afterwards if you have any questions. But cool, let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we will get started. All right. Cool. Okay, cool. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I guess I can start by introducing myself. So my name is Alejandro Favela. You can call me Alex. I am the dual enrollment program coordinator at Foothill. Basically, in a nutshell, my job is to make sure that, that of course, you all are registered and enrolled for these classes, make sure that you're set up for success and good to go. And, I really want to emphasize that I'm not just here to support you to get enrolled. I can really support you throughout your experience as a dual enrollment student, from the moment that you start taking the class up until the end. And yeah, so the reason why we're here, for those of you that might, hopefully everyone's in the right place, but so we're here to help you get started on the registration process for sports med and multivariable calculus and linear algebra. So what I'm gonna do in the next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna go over this registration guide that I put together for you all, and of course you're gonna have access to this guide once we get done with this presentation. Once again, right, similar to the recording, that way if you have any questions, you're always gonna have this to reference and come here to have your questions answered. This is pretty thorough. It's pretty fleshed out. So I can probably say that any question you may have is probably here. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to review real quick, and I'm not going to spend too much time in every slide, only because we are going to be really the big part that we're trying to take care of today also is for you to complete the first step, which is the online application. So we'll be doing that after I'm done reviewing this guide. So this is kind of your index, or just kind of know what information to find in each slide. So you'll see here that there's a step-by-step for the online application, as well as the Adobe Sign CCAP and MOU form, and then important dates and deadlines, and all that good stuff. So I am going to be, in addition to today, I am also going to be hosting a drop-in hours next Wednesday, just in case you have if you want to come in and work on either your online application or the Adobe Sign form. Or really, if you have any questions about kind of your experience as a dual enrollment student, I'm gonna be available at that time, but I'll also be available throughout the summer. So if you can't make it that Wednesday, you can also reach out to me via email. I did want to put down here the deadline to complete everything. So August 11th, and you might be thinking, well, have all summer to knock this out. But I would highly encourage you to just knock it out, as soon as you can. Right, that way it's not that way you don't have it in the back of your mind as you're trying to enjoy your summer break. And I would say just take care of it, and then you can go off and enjoy your summer break. It is really important that we do have everything completed though by August 11th, because I will not be able to enroll you in sports med or the multivariable classes after the first week of class. So this is very important. Of course, right, you're still going to be in class at Mountain View, right? You're still going to be in class with everyone else. But in terms of Foothill and being officially registered and enrolled as a dual enrollment student, I will not be able to do so after that week, because we do have a very strict deadlines at Foothill. So just wanted to make that clear. And then I'll leave some time at the end if you'll have any questions or concerns with this deadline. And then, so just kind of some important info that you might, important info that you'll need to complete your application. I just listed some of them here. So your social security number, it's okay if you don't have one, you can still enroll in classes. But if you do have one, you will be reporting that in your online application. Parent email address, this is more specific for the Adobe Sign form. And then your personal email address, this one you will be adding it to your online application. And then, so preferably, right, preferably not your MVLA, because this email, it basically gets discontinued, right? Like after you graduate, after your senior year, you're not going to have access to this email address anymore. But that's okay. If the MBLA email that you have is the only one that you have, that's also completely fine. You can use that one as well. And then unofficial transcript, because you are going to be reporting your English and math classes from last year. Right, and I put an example right there, right? Like if you're a junior, then if you're currently a junior, then we're going to be asking you for your grades for your sophomore year. And then once again, right, like I'm not going to spend too much time on these because we're going to be reviewing we're going to be working on the online application together. But this is just kind of how to get started. Did want to differentiate here that we might have two groups of students here, right? Some of you might have already taken a college class in the past, whether it was Dianza, Kenyatta, San Jose, you name it, right? Like any California community college, then you would have already created an OpenCCC account, so you would be signing in. But if this is your very first time taking a dual enrollment class, then you're going to be creating an account for the very first time. Cool. And then just kind of same, right? Like it might steps might look a little different if you're a returning student or new. One of the big ones that I really want to emphasize here and take some time to kind of pause and make sure that you all understand this. For those of you that are here for sports med, you're actually applying for our summer quarter. And I just want to pause here and clarify that you're not taking a summer class, right? You're not going to be, your class is not going to be starting in the summer. But it does start in the summer for us at Foothill, right? Because we are in the quarter system. Our fall quarter technically doesn't start until September 21st, somewhere like the last week of September. That's also the same first day of class for the multivariable linear algebra class, right? So I just wanted to really emphasize that as you're completing your application, sports med students, we do ask you to apply for the summer. Only because it falls during our summer quarter. But once again, right, like this doesn't, like you're still gonna start your class the first day of class at Mountain View. But just it's just, you know, don't want to bore you with all the technicalities behind that. But yeah, we do have to have you registered as a we do need you to submit a summer application. And then of course, right, with the multivariable calc linear algebra students, pretty straightforward. You're just applying for the fall. Like I mentioned earlier, right, it's just your class does align with our fall quarter. So no, really nothing new there. And then, so right here, this is once again, right, like just kind of detailed steps. Sports med, make sure you're applying for the summer. And then multivariable linear algebra students for the fall. And then we'll be going over this in detail. So don't want to spend too much time there. And then as you submit your application, you're going to get a confirmation page. Please take a screenshot or a picture, and then please email it to me. That way I can start keeping track of who's submitting their application, and just kind of, it gives me a better idea of where you are in the registration process. And then just small favor, when you do send me your screenshot or your picture, just make sure to put your full name, high school, and then the dual enrollment class you'll be taking next year. And that just makes it easy for me to sort out through through my rosters and all that. So once you submit your application, within 48 hours, you're going to get a welcome email from us. This could literally happen within like 2 hours, 4 hours, 5, 10, the whole 48 hours. It really depends on, I don't know, I guess how fast our system processes your application. But please make sure to check your inbox regularly once you submit your application. Also make sure to check your spam or your junk folder, because sometimes for whatever reason that welcome email could also land there. So I often get emails from students. They're like, hey, I can't move on with the registration process because I never got my welcome email. Just wanted to give you a quick tip there to once again, right, to check your spam and junk folder, just in case it landed there. The most important thing that you're going to get from this email is, of course, is going to be your student ID. And then so for those of you that are returning that have taken dual enrollment classes with Foothill in the past, you already have a student ID number. But nonetheless, right, like you still have to reapply for the fall or the summer, but you will keep that same student ID. We call it CW ID that you received, the first time that you applied. to take classes at Foothill. But yeah, so once you get your CWID, your welcome email, then you're officially done with step number 1, and then you can move on to step number 2, which is the Adobe Sign form. And in this one, so we're not gonna get time to work on this one today, but I did want to just review it real quick, and then of course, right, once you excuse me. Once you do get your your welcome email, then at any point you can go ahead and move on to complete this form, right? I will admit I'm not a big fan of this form. It's really tedious. There's kind of a lot of like little steps that you have to follow, especially if this is your first time completing one. So please be patient with it, and you know, if you do have any questions, reach out at any point, and I can right, like we can either troubleshoot via email, or we can set up a quick Zoom call to help you with this form. But the form is housed under your Foothill My Portal. Right, like that's how you're gonna get to it, right? So you're gonna go to myportal.fhca.edu. You're gonna log in. Just wanted to put a tip there. If this is your first time logging in, your temp password is gonna be the 8 digits of your birthday. So just keep that in mind. And then of course, those of you that might be returning, then you know, you already know the drill, right? You already know how to log into to the My Portal. But I think as much as I dislike this form, I think it's really cool that we do give you an kind of exposure to what it is to navigate a college portal. I believe like this kind of experience of going through a college portal, it's going to be very similar to, you know, wherever you end up going to college, right? Whether you come to Foothill, De Anza, right, like anywhere, UC, CSU, private, it's going to be a very similar experience, right? Where you have to log in, right? And then there's like all these kind of cool little tiles and apps where you have access to, you know, all kinds of like services, right? A lot of your information is going to be housed here. So, you know, once again, right, like I dislike this process, but I like the fact that, you know, that you do get access to a portal, which I think is pretty cool. And then, so I just wanted to put here, so once again, right, like for those of you that are returning, maybe have already taken a dual enrollment class in the past, and specifically if you've already completed an Adobe Sign form in the past, then you can actually skip some of these steps, because so it's really the step of applying for a student email. This is the part where I'm not a big fan of. It gets a little tedious, but once again, right, like if you've already completed a form, then you don't have to do this again. These specific steps, right, you still have to complete the form. But just wanted to go over them real quick. Right, everything here is pretty spelled out, so you can follow this along once you're ready to start working on your form. And then just something real quick I wanted to point out here is that so if you don't receive your email, that kind of it's a little weird. So if you don't receive the activation email, basically saying that your student email account has been activated within 2 hours, I would recommend you to just continue with the process. Check your similar, right, like check your spam and your junk folder. Maybe like that confirmation email landed there, but that's basically right, like our system indicating or letting you know that you now have a Foothill student email account, which kind of in a sense is also pretty cool, right? Like now you also have a college email account, which I think is pretty cool. And then yeah, so once you get that activation email, then you can continue with the process. Once again, don't want to spend too much time in all these little steps. This one, once you do get to, you're going to get to a point, and this is kind of like towards the end, where you do have to enter your parent email as well as your high school administrator. Just a huge tip here, just triple check your spelling, because as you can imagine, right, like if you miss a letter or a character, then the form is never going to get to your parent or your high school administrator. So just triple check your emails once when you're entering them. And then so your high school administrator is going to be Miss Morelli. Hopefully I'm getting her last name right. But she's the one that's going to sign off on your forms. So it's very important, once you get to that high school admin email, you can just come back to the guide. You could do a quick copy and paste, and then just add it, add her email address over here. And then that, I just wanted once again differentiate, because we do have two groups of students here. I basically went ahead and gave you all the like the course information that you need to enter. So once again, right, like this is pretty streamlined, pretty easy for you to just, you can just come back to the guide and also just do a quick, right, like copy and paste, and then paste it onto the form. But these are the classes you're going to be taking, right? And then once again, right, like the summer. So just to clarify, right, you're not taking a summer class. This is not going to start before your fall semester. This is just for our purposes at Foothill. And then yeah, so pretty straightforward here, right? You're just copying the information, making sure that you're completing all the fields at the top. You don't have to attach a transcript, so don't worry about that. You can skip that. And then yeah, you would just sign, submit, and then lastly, oh, this is for the Calc and linear algebra students. Excuse me. Lastly, once you've completed your part, right, you already filled it out, you signed, you submitted. Your very final step is just going to be to give mom or dad or your legal guardian, just give them a nudge, let them know that they should be receiving a signature request email, so they can sign off on your form, and then the form can move along the workflow. Because so basically the way it works is you fill it out, you sign, you submit, and then it automatically goes to your parent to sign. Once they sign, then it goes to Miss Morelli to sign, and then it'll come to me after all that's done. But yeah, so at last, that's it. You completed it. Your parents sign, and then the form just moves along. But yeah, so I there's probably, I don't know how many times I've had to kind of like review this, and I still think it's really tedious. It's really long. So once again, just please be patient with us. And if you get stuck at any point, just let us know. And then once again, right, like I just want to put my contact information here. Please feel free to reach out. I tend to be pretty good at, if it's a student email, I prioritize you over other emails. Probably not the best thing to do for my coworkers or other people, but reason why I'm here is to help you, right, and make sure that you're set up for success. So if you have any questions, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. Just one small little favor: if you are sending me an email, just please include your full name, your high school, the dual enrollment class, and then of course, if you already have a CWID, which is the Foothill student ID, also include it in your email. It just makes it easy for me to, like, it avoids like the back and forth, right? Like, you're gonna send me an email, and if I don't know who you are, then I have to reply to you and ask you for more information. So if you from the get-go, if you include that information in your first email, then it'll just be a lot easier for me to help you with whatever it is that might be going on. But yeah, any questions, comments, concerns? I think I spent a little too much time, or more than I planned, going over this. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Any questions?